The fallout continues after the conviction of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who was found guilty of second-degree murder in the death of George Floyd. Well, this week I talked with WATE 6 on Your Side legal analyst Greg Isaacs about what's ahead following that verdict in this week's Ask Isaacs. WATE 6 on Your Side legal analyst Greg Isaacs is here now as we dive deeper into the Derek Chauvin verdict. Greg, thank you for joining us. This is not going away, still ongoing, lots happening, new developments today. Let's first take you back to the verdict. Guilty on 3 counts, 3 different counts, guilty on all. Any surprises there?
Lori, not really. Chauvin was convicted of third-degree murder, second-degree murder, and third-degree manslaughter. So, you know, the second-degree homicide was really what courtroom observers were watching.
The most serious.
The most serious, and that would have defined whether there was a victory for the defense or a victory from the prosecution, because you knew based on that 9-minute, 53-second video that he was not going to be acquitted of everything, but everyone was watching, would the jury find this was an intentional act? And if they had not, if the prosecution hadn't ran the table, I think you would have seen pandemonium outside that courthouse.
Oh my goodness, pandemonium of a different sort with people victorious. In crowds all over the place. But here's the thing, okay, it's not over yet. Sentencing happens in 8 weeks or thereabouts. What can Derek Chauvin face?
Let's talk about what happens next. He was remanded after the verdict. That means he was taken into custody. He has now been placed in a maximum security setting there. Wow, what a difficult job if you're local law enforcement and you're charged with protecting probably one of the most hated men in America right now.
All eyes on him.
On him. So right now, the pre-sentence, the probation office is going to do a pre-sentence report. That goes to the attorneys, goes to the judge, and then there's going to be a sentencing hearing, and that's like a mini trial. But Lori, we've thrown out some big numbers: 40 years, 15 years, 10 years.
Different scenarios.
Different scenarios, but Minnesota has a sentencing grid that is much like the federal sentencing guidelines that kind of mathematically goes through a lot of different factors. Do you have a criminal record, a history? And it's going to be shocking. Because if you run the numbers on that chart, even though he was convicted of the most serious, Chauvin could receive a potential sentence of 12.5 years.
12 and a half years.
12 and a half years. And Lori, I don't think John Q. Public has read the sentencing table in Minnesota yet.
Clearly not.
Clearly not. And if that sentence comes in that low, I think you're going to see havoc and pandemonium again. But now here's what under Minnesota law you can do. If you're the defense, you can file mitigating factors to try to get it lower. If you're the prosecution, you can file aggravating factors.
So 12 and a half years would not be a victory to his team.
Well, to his team. But there are aggravating factors such as committing a crime in front of a minor, right, which happened here, or a cruel and heinous killing,
okay,
which I mean, you could easily argue this was it.
Absolutely. So, I'm so sorry, we're out of time.
This you can talk about forever.
We'll keep talking about it. Greg, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so if you have a legal question, send it Greg's way, and we'll see if he can clear it up for you. Email AskIsaacs@WATE.com. And remember, we bring Greg on every Wednesday at 5:30, and I'm going in depth with Greg each Wednesday in a special online stream on WATE.com and our Facebook page, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. That's a chance for you to directly ask him a question.